Welcome to Nickel City Mafia, where we talk all things Buffalo and then some. And today we're going to get into that fun little game yesterday, the first preseason game of the year. It turned into an exciting game. And Jake, I know you're excited. We are excited to have football back. But over here on the right, left of me, I don't know, Mr. Jake Podger, all the way on the East Coast there. How you doing, Jake?
Mike, could not be better. What a game yesterday. Listen, everyone says, "Oh, it's just preseason." Well, I think, and this is a hot take, I actually love preseason. I know a lot of people are very against it. People were happy that they limited it to 3 games instead of 4 now, but I absolutely love it. There's nothing better. It is the epitome of grit. You got a bunch of guys battling out for their livelihoods, trying to make a roster. And I mean, you saw so many rookies shine yesterday, Mike, and it's so encouraging because I think yesterday was so much about seeing where our depth was. Like we
Yeah.
came out, we had our second stringers in for the most part, played against the starting Colts offense. Defense shut them down. Team looked good. We had some of my guys, some of my favorite players shine. It just was awesome. And it was so good to have football back. What a beautiful day. The buzz around the stadium was just incredible. I drove past it yesterday. I didn't unfortunately get to the game, but you're damn right, I watched the game. So, man, I'll tell you what, just really, really happy that football's back. What a great week of preseason football. I mean, just awesome stuff, Mike. And you know what? On that note, I'm going to open up one of these. Shout out to Labatt. Thank you again for the future sponsorship. Appreciate you. And cheers.
One day they'll see this. So before we get into the show, we're going to talk about all that good stuff that you just mentioned there, Jake. Before we get into the show, we want to mention this amazing giveaway that we got going on, thanks to our friends over at Auto, spelled O-R-T-O. Great little app that you can download for your Android or your Apple device. And if you're looking for a used car, trust me, you're going to want to try this out. Basically, you download it. It's free for Jake and I, who are probably buying a lot of used cars. But my son is right now, my 17-year-old, and we're using it. Like, it's helped us tremendously because what it does is you scan the license plate, it downloads all the history of that vehicle. You can see any damage that it had, any repairs that were done on it, whether it was salvaged or not at one point. And you get all this great history. And sometimes the seller doesn't tell you about this, right? This person trying to sell the car. And we had a couple vehicles that we looked at, and the seller did not reveal this information. So it saved us a lot of grief there. Anyhow, let's play a quick little clip on our sponsor, Auto. And we'll be back in 25 seconds. Let's go.
40% of the cars on the road hold a hidden history. With the Auto app, you simply photograph any car, and using our AI license plate recognition technology, you'll instantly have accident, sales, and owner data from multiple sources at your fingertips. If you work in the car industry or are simply buying a used car, use Auto to get the full picture. Search Auto, spelled O-R-T-O, on the App Store.
And I guess I should announce what the actual giveaway is. So thank you from the folks at Auto, spelled O-R-T-O. If you're in the auto industry, this is a must-have. If you're looking to buy a used car, definitely check it out. But that giveaway, let's talk about that. Jake, I'll throw it over to you. Why don't you let the folks know what we're giving away?
Of course. Mike, I've been pushing it hard at work, been pushing it to all my friends. My brother-in-law tells me to stop because he wants to get into this and win
like,
this damn thing.
Don't
he
tell
wants
too
to
many
be at
people.
that game. He's like, stop promoting it. I'm like, dude, I mean, come on now. We can't make it look rigged if you win, So, anyways, no, it's an awesome giveaway. First off, who doesn't want to go to a Bills game? If you're watching the show, you're more than likely a Bills fan. So shout out to all the Bills fans. If you're not a Bills fan, still a great experience. Get into this contest. It is the home opener game against the Titans. It's 2 free tickets, Mike. 2 free tickets to the home opener Monday night, the first of 2 Monday nighters, and definitely going to be the more watched Monday nighter. I could tell you that just by ratings and how the Bills fans are. But it is Bills Titans at home opener. Great seats, section 243, I want to say. I mean, you're in a nice spot. You got a nice view of the field. You're not that many rows up either. And on top of that, we're throwing in a $100 Visa gift card for you to use at your convenience. Hopefully it's something at the game. Maybe you buy a couple beers, maybe you pay for parking, whatever it may be. But we figured, why not throw that in as well? So it's an awesome giveaway. You got to get in. All you have to do is subscribe. Make sure your subscriptions are public. And in addition, just leave a comment on any of our shows that we've done through 7:30 through 8:28, something like that, Mike?
Yeah, yes. On 8/28, we'll be announcing the winner. So that night, Saturday night, I'll be putting together the final giveaway show, which is Jake and I will be on for that Sunday morning. Super excited. We've had a great response to this. There's so many great stories of people that have never went to a game, have always wanted to go to a game, but for some reason, just whether it's the expense these days, the expense to go into a Bills game and
it's
the NFL
insane.
game is unbelievable. So it's going to be awesome to see who wins this. I know you're going to be at that game, and we're hoping that we can connect the two of you and get some great pictures.
That would be awesome.
Just awesome. So good stuff there. Let's get into it, Jake. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it, Mike.
All right. So let's set the stage. Let's put things in perspective, because some of the things we're going to talk about are affected by what I'm about to say. So first of all, on offense, let's start with the offense, Jake. On the offensive side of the ball, we had zero starters. Zero starters take the field. On the O-line, we had left tackle Tommy Doyle. We had Bobby Hart playing guard, Greg Van Roten at center, Cody Ford at right guard, and then Luke Tenuta at the right tackle. So not one offensive starter on that O-line, but good, right? And we were going against I don't want to say the Colts had all their starters, but they did have a good number of starters on the defensive side of the ball. And then as far as the skill positions go, we had, of course, Case Keenum starting. We had Zach Moss starting in the backfield, Khalil Shakir, Jake Kumaro, Jameson Crowder, and O.J. Howard. So keep that in mind as we talk about things. Here we are with our second teamers here, right, going against a good number of starters there. And I was pretty impressed, but let's get into it. Let's go position by position, Jake. And first of all, let's start with that O-line. All right, everything starts up front. Talk to me about what you thought, how the O-line did.
I think out of everyone on that O-line, the most uncertain I was, I guess, is this the right terminology? Yeah, the most uncertainty I had was with Bobby Hart at guard. And the reason for that is just he really hasn't been able to catch on. And I know he has some starting experience in the league, but he looked like a really good football player yesterday. He played extremely well, I thought, at the guard position. And I think out of anyone who shined out of that starting offensive line yesterday, technically our second teamers, Bobby Hart certainly made a name for himself. And I do think he certainly, helped himself and made himself look better, coming to those, last few cuts. I'm sure it's going to be kept in mind how well he played this, yesterday. I thought he did an excellent job. So was very happy with his play. I do think Luke Tenuta struggled a bit. He's a rookie. He's a late round pick. His dad is a coach. He coached in college and coached a little bit in the, I think he actually was just coaching the USFL with the New Orleans Breakers. But so he comes from a football family, but definitely struggled a bit. They actually flipped him over to left tackle later on in the game. I think he struggled a little bit more. He got called on a holding penalty and a couple other penalties. And, he definitely had a welcome to the NFL moment yesterday. But I think interior wise, our guards, especially Bobby Hart, like I mentioned, and Greg Van Roten and Cody Ford up front, they did a fantastic job. Made Zach Moss look extremely good. And how about Zach Moss, Mike? I mean, He looked refreshed. He looked rejuvenated. I know he had the ankle issue last year that we didn't really know a whole lot about, but man, he looks ready to go. He looks healthy, and really did a great job yesterday. So shout out to him. I do think the offensive line played pretty decent. Gave Case Keenum some time. Case, I'll tell you this, James, I know you make a point here, percentage chance that Case gets released. I know people are already calling for his head. He did not play well yesterday. Of course, he had the one faux interception, if you want to call it, where it went off Jameson Crowder's hands. Not really his fault. But then he tries to throw a back shoulder. That doesn't really work out. He's trying to throw a back shoulder pass to a 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick. Really did not, not even close. I mean, he threw it more inside, and it was an easy pick for Isaiah Rodgers. So, yeah, that was awful. I know Case thinks, pretty poorly of his play as well. I know he was disappointed about it. You know what? Listen, this guy has starting experience in the NFL. He started full seasons. He played extremely well for Minnesota in 2018, started with Denver, had some starting experience with the Rams. No way do we release this guy. He's still a very good backup quarterback. He had one bad game. He was playing against the starting defense for the Colts, who was sneaky sneaky good. I mean, that defense is going to be legit this year. I really do think once they're at full capacity and they're playing, that defense is going to be very good. You got to think their defensive line. You have DeForest Buckner. You have a couple other guys on that D line who are just absolute studs. Yannick Ngakoue is another guy. He was playing yesterday. I saw him out there. Bobby Okereke. You have Darius Leonard. You have Stephon Gilmore. I know Stephon didn't play yesterday, but that's a really good defense that he played up against, and kudos to them. Shout out to them. I think they played extremely well. Now, no excuse for Case. He did look a little unprepared. He didn't really throw the ball as well as he should have. He fumbled. He turned the ball over a lot, cost us some points here and there. But I think it'll be all right. I'm not too worried about it. I know a lot of people are saying he should be cut because Matt Barkley played a better game. Well, you got to remember Matt Barkley also played against third stringers, so big difference there. So no, I'm not at all worried about Case Keenum. I know people are making a big stink about it, but it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. And I do think he's one of the most capable backup quarterbacks in the NFL. And if he needs to start, he can.
Yeah. I'm going to wait till I'm kind of trying to keep this organized. I'm going to go to.
Yes, I'm sorry. I go all over the place.
I know. It's okay. We want to answer the questions. And by the way, James, great to see you out there. Real News Channel. Love to see you. And then Jules Marie out there. Really appreciate your support and you guys coming out to the channel and interacting. So, of course, we're going to get to your questions first. But I did want to finish up on the O-line. How did you – I totally agree. I did think the tackles struggled the mostly Tenuta, like we talked about. But how did you think your boy Tommy Doyle did?
It was up and down for him, too, I think. He wasn't in super long. Luke Tenuta kind of flipped over and played left tackle for majority of the game. But, I think Tommy Doyle is a very capable player. He came in very raw. He's a fifth-round pick out of Miami, Ohio, Maction. Shout out to the Mac school guys. Love him to death. And how about this, Mike? We don't really like to draft tackles anywhere under the height of 6'8". Luke Tenuta, another mammoth at 6'9", 322. Tommy Doyle, 6'8" himself. I mean, just absolute mammoths on the outside there. Both are really young guys. Tommy Doyle, I think, definitely has a future in the league. He can play here. There's a reason why he was drafted where he was. Obviously, he was very raw coming into the league, but I have seen development with him. So, I think he's just going to keep getting better. And obviously, Luke Tenuta had a tough game yesterday, but I think he can get better as well. I think there's a lot that he can take from this and channel it and, just continue to improve.
Yeah, I agree. I was pretty impressed with that O-line for the most part. We moved the ball at times, so not bad at all. And I love that they're getting these reps, right? You never know. O-linemen tend to go down during the season, and to have this experience early on, especially against starters on the Colts side. Absolutely love it. So let's talk about QBs. Let's get a little deeper. I know you already talked about Case. My take on Case is, look, that first interception to Crowder, I want you to go look. If you guys have Game Pass, go look at it again. It almost looks to me like the defensive lineman got a finger on it and deflected it just slightly, just enough to go a little high. And then I'm also going to say this, even if he didn't deflect it and it was a little high, what's the rule for a receiver? I tell this kid all the time, my 9-year-old, when he's out there playing receiver, if it touches your hands,
you got to catch it.
It's on you. So that one, and then I look at Case Keenum as he's still learning the system, right? This is his first year over here in Buffalo. Barkley's been with us now a few years, and I know we have a different offensive coordinator. And that was the other thing, right? Ken Dorsey, for the first time up in the booth calling plays during the game, right? Yeah. So, and he's probably worked with Josh Allen a little bit more. I'm sure
he's also now this is interesting, Mike. He has also built a rapport with Matt Barkley because he was the quarterback coach when Matt Barkley was here in Buffalo. So they have some familiarity. Ken Dorsey knows what he can do. They ran a lot of tempo when Matt Barkley was on the field, a lot of timing routes. So I do think that there is a little more confidence in that sense because they've already worked together. They built that rapport. So there is something to be said about that as well. Yeah.
So again, I'm not so concerned. And no, am I calling for, what's the percent of Case getting cut?
I'm going to say 0.
I'll give it a 1%. There's always a chance, but
sure.
I'll give it a 1%. And they'd have to find somebody. I mean, who's out there who they can get, right? And I don't think Barkley's number 2. I think Barkley, like you said, looked good. I loved what he did, but he was going against third stringers at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
So big difference there. I'm going to give Case a pass this one game. The worst pass he threw, obviously, was the second interception. right?
Mhm.
We had just gotten the ball on a turnover, and he throws it. He was supposed to go, he threw it a little bit too much inside, and it was an easy
Yeah.
pick.
You're supposed to go back shoulder, and it just,
Back shoulder, yeah.
Yep.
So to me, that was his worst pass. And again, I'm going to give him a pass for this game. I think we'll be fine there. But was super impressed with what Barkley did. I mean, Barkley, holy cow, 18 for 24, 224 yards. Oh my goodness. He threw the one pick, but that one wasn't his fault either. It went right through the hands of Raheem Blackshear, right? So
My guy.
we'll talk about him. He had a very good game other than that one. But again, great game by Barkley. He's, you don't hear him much in training camp. He's probably not getting that many reps. You don't hear a lot of good things in training camp, but he played extremely well. I thought he put the ball where it needed to be put. And he looked great. I was like,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, initially I'd be like, I'd never want to see Barkley take the field, but now I have kind of a different outlook based on what I saw yesterday. So let's see what the NFL is trash.
That's awesome. George Karlaftis, man, that guy is an animal. I mean, he is just the get off for that young man is just ridiculous. I mean, I knew he was a high motor guy and stuff, and I was curious to see how his skill set would translate to the NFL. Man, he looks better than ever. He is going to be a problem in KC. I'll tell you that for free.
For free. Thanks for that free information.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the running back. All right, and I'll throw it over to you to start. Obviously, we saw Zach Moss start the game, which you talked about him a little bit. I think he looked strong. I'll let you get into James Cook. Then we saw Raheem Blackshear pretty much take over the fourth quarter. I thought he had a good game. But let me throw it to you. Talk to us about the running backs, what you saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was cool to see James Cook, work as a return man yesterday, too. Just kind of speaks to the versatility that he has. He's dropped 10 pounds since he's been in camp. He is looking like a young Dexter McCluster out there, which is really exciting. If he's anything like Dexter McCluster, I'm pretty happy about it. Hopefully not as short of a career, but I'll tell you what, he gives us a lot of different skill sets. And I don't think Ken Dorsey wanted to show too much of that. I think he wanted to get him a little bit of a taste of, playing in this offense and kind of get him out of there. And I don't think he wants to discuss, I don't think he wants to show too much of what we're going to do with him as the season moves forward here. So was great to see him in there. I think he, for the limited time he was in, I think he did all right. And he looks like a player, we threw him a little, it was like a swing pass out to the left there. And he got, I know he had a zone run inside. He actually he ran right into some contact there. He seems to like the contact, which is kind of nice to see, for a smaller guy like that. I think a lot of people are worried about him and just see him as more of an outside threat. But it was actually good to see. I like him a lot. I think he's got some potential, Mike. And we knew he was going to be a good back. The second we drafted him, we were really excited about it. And just hearing about all the different things that he's able to do, he can split out wide as a receiver. He can play on the inside. He can be a slot guy. He can, work in the backfield, work in shotgun, work in single back, do a little bit of everything. It's just a really, really awesome thing to have. And then we had Zach Moss, like I said, he looked refreshed. He looked rejuvenated. I don't know what the hell happened, but he looked like a totally different player yesterday. And I think credit to him, getting healthy and taking care of himself and getting himself ready for the season. And, I will say coming into the offseason, I thought he was going to be a possible cut, but he definitely made a case for himself yesterday. He ran really hard. He ran well, and he looks like a brand new player right now. So that's really, really good news. Then you had my guy, Raheem Blackshear, who I've been talking up for quite some time. And it's funny, I was on another show. My buddy Joe Miller, who does the Buffalo Rumblings show, they call him The Voice. He was talking yesterday on his show. And I put in the comments, I said, Raheem Blackshear, absolutely love that guy. And everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know who Raheem Blackshear is. And I'm like, no, I've been talking about this guy for a while. Like, I've been really excited for him. And, undrafted guy out of Odd Tech, smaller, 5'9", like a $190 around there. Sort of Darren Sproles-esque, if you will. I thought he played fantastic. He is one of my stars on the offense from yesterday. He even got hurt. He came back in, taped it up a little bit. I think it was a lower ankle injury. Mm-hmm. But, man, he scored 2 touchdowns. He really rebounded after that drop that it was an interception by Matt Barkley after he, dropped the pass there. But man, he did a fantastic job yesterday. Looked like he can definitely play in this league. I think certainly has a shot for the practice squad just based on that alone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, let's recap what they did. So Moss had three carries for 37 yards, nice average per carry. Raheem Blackshear ran the ball 6 times for 11 yards. Not, I mean, on the running game, not too much there, but
It's
he
more
did
so on
score.
the other side.
Yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns. Duke Johnson was 6 for 9, 6 carries for 9 yards. James Cook three carries for 5, and Case Keenum ran the ball 1 time. So we didn't really light it up on the ground. So we ran the ball 18 times, and our average per run was 3.4 yards. So not too impressive. But on the other side of the ball, where Blackshear was nice, he had 4 receptions for 60 yards. Looked really good. Made some nice cuts. Turned it upfield, and that's where I thought he really shined. Also, he was returning kickoffs, right? I think he was returning some kick returns, which was nice. And they pretty much, I don't know, I was trying to understand it. They pretty much let him play most of the fourth quarter. Are they just trying to put him out there on display? Because I don't know. I felt like there should have been some other folks, but he was just taking everything in the fourth quarter. Your thoughts on the time that he got, the timeshare in the fourth quarter?
I think they want to see what he's got, Mike. He's a very interesting prospect, and I think a guy that could play in this league. So I think they're just seeing what he can give them, and if he's worthy of a practice squad spot. Because to crack the 3 backs that we're going to probably keep on the active roster is going to be extremely difficult, and especially as an undrafted guy, it's very rare that you see a guy like that make an impact, so early on in his career. So I think we just wanted to see where he was at with everything, and he really showed out yesterday. He did an excellent job as a pass catcher, especially. So I am very, very happy with what I saw. And then even Duke Johnson, I thought when we needed him, he definitely showed up. I mean, that's what you get out of a veteran like him. He's been in the league for 8 years now, and he really showed that his veteran presence is important for this team. And I definitely think he's going to be a guy that will provide some leadership throughout the entire preseason here for our younger guys. And not sure if he makes the team, but certainly, did his part yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about Moss a few shows ago and Duke Johnson. And I was like, I don't think Duke makes the active squad. And I still think that. I think that's going to hold true because Zach, we have him under contract for the next 2 years. It's not a big contract. He brings something different to the team. He is that big body. And if he can run like he did yesterday, and also he can catch the ball. I mean, not many people think about Zach Moss as a receiving back, but the guy can catch the ball out of the backfield. He had 2 catches as well. And I don't know, he brings that. He didn't show it last year. We learned about his injury, pins in his ankle throughout the whole season. I mean, that's gonna affect you in a big way. So yeah, I love what I saw from Zach. I think he makes the squad for sure. There's no way if he was released, he would clear waivers, in my opinion. Duke, I said, look, I don't think he gives you anything different. We already have James Cook, and he's kind of an older version of James Cook, in my opinion, maybe a little bigger. But, that leadership, which is always appreciated, I just don't think he cracks the active roster here. And
now with what Raheem Blackshear did yesterday, I mean, that's just another guy who's basically another James Cook, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to make the squad, but for the time being, he's at least that veteran presence in the locker room, and he'll catch on with another team. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, he's a true proven veteran, so he'll be just fine.
And I do want to confirm, you did call out Raheem Blackshear in one of our shows. You said he's my sleeper. I did want to ask you, how'd you find out about this guy? Did you happen to watch him in college?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of tape on him. He was at Virginia Tech. Didn't put up insane numbers or anything like that. I think he only had 700-something yards last year, which is it's average. It's solid, decent year. But I think he's one of those guys that's like James Cook, where he's sort of just continuing to trend upward, and the limited mileage he has kind of allows him to reach that potential a little bit later on, and not so soon, and not peak right away. So I'll tell you this, man, I just was so thrilled to see that. And it was just, for me, it was like a great moment because I had been talking this guy up for so long, and he just comes out and shows out like that. It's just a beautiful thing, Mike. And then And we'll talk about my other guy on defense pretty soon here. But, man, I mean, just an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, I was like impressed. I was like, oh man, Jake has been calling. He called this guy out in a show. He said he's the sleeper pick for him in the running back room, and look what he does. So you got my attention, Jake. You got my attention. All right. Well, good stuff.
I was a scout in another life, Mike. I was a scout in another life.
I'm thinking you were. I'm thinking you watch a lot more college than I mean, I already know you watch a ton of college, but I mean, you got like 4 or 5, 6 TVs down there in that cave.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a couple of them got a little bit of everything.
On there. All right, let's head on over to the wide receivers. This was exciting. Khalil Shakir, to me, obviously the standout, as well as Isaiah Hodgins, right?
Yep.
What a great game. I'll throw it over to you. I'd love to have you start. So talk to me about the wide receiver.
Oh, man. I mean, just so smooth. It was like art watching Khalil Shakir yesterday. I mean, it's just remarkable. A 5th-round pick out of Boise State. Super good college career, but for whatever reason slipped to the 5th round. And what a steal. Again, Brandon Beane might be the best late-round GM in the NFL in terms of drafting. I mean, just the guys that he's been able to snag over the past few seasons is just incredible. And Khalil Shakir, I think he looks like a real winner. He's definitely a hit and going to give these guys a run for their money. I think he's going to definitely get some time this year just based on what we saw yesterday. He could play outside. He could play inside. His route running looked great. He caught everything thrown his way. I mean, man, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. And I think there was a lot of hype built around him. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's just all hype, but for him to go out there and do what he did was just amazing. So super, super happy with that, Mike. We got to get to Tony and talk to him and see if we can get that guy on the show. Cause that would be elite, man. I'll tell you that. But, and then
the more he performs like that, it's going to be harder to get him on a show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we definitely got a winner in that one for sure. And then how about Isaiah Hodgins? The guy has been banged up, hasn't really had an opportunity to show why he was so hyped up. A lot of people had him highly ranked, coming into the draft in 2020, and people had him higher ranked than Gabe Davis even. People said that he was going to be a better receiver, and he was a steal in the 6th round. Then he gets hurt, really hasn't had an opportunity to show off his skill set. Yesterday catches 9 passes for 9 for 77 yesterday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Big important catches too. A lot of 3rd down catches, kind of showing a little bit of everything, playing a little bit of inside receiver, playing outside. He showed some athleticism. His release off the line was just unbelievable. They showed a clip of him just running vertical, and man, I mean, he just his movement at the line and everything is just so impressive to me, and just really, really happy for that guy because he's waited his time and he finally got to show what he was made of yesterday.
Yeah, Khalil, it was 5 for 92, and like you said, Hodgins was 9 for 77, and we know that Khalil's making this team no matter what. But he didn't look like a rookie out there.
No,
he looked comfortable. I mean, looked like the guy had been playing in the league for a couple of years. Just super, super calm, super. It looked explosive. They had him on kickoff returns. Let me just talk about that real quick. They had, they kind of gave everyone a little bit of chance. We had Duke Johnson returning 2 kickoffs. Blackshear returned 2. Cook returned 1. On the punt returns, it was Blackshear, Duke Johnson, and Khalil Shakir. And so you can already see, I feel it's going to be Khalil Shakir with that job. I'm getting that. I know I'm getting that feeling that he's going to be the guy there. And of course, he's going to bring a lot more. He's going to get playing time. This guy, man, all the buzz about him is to see it on the field. It just confirms what we've been hearing. And I like Hodgins because of his size, right? He brings something different. I know Gabe's Gabe's kind of a big guy as well. But Hodgins brings that other bigger physical presence, which could be just a real tremendous help in the red zone. So again, what I saw yesterday is maybe Hodgins takes the lead over Kumaro. Now, Kumaro made our team last year. Kumaro had a big fumble on a nice pass by Keenan, by the way.
Yeah.
And so your thoughts on the Kumaro Hodgins Do you think Hodgins is kind of taking that lead there?
He made a case. He definitely made a case for himself, but I just think that, we extended Jay Kumaro, so I feel like they're pretty set on him, especially as a special teams guy. Like, they really do value that a lot. So depending on what Isaiah Hodgins can offer from a special teams aspect, which he played some specials yesterday too, and I thought did a decent job. I think pending on what he can do from that point of view as well, it's really going to make or break, whether he makes the squad. And I don't know. That's going to be a really intriguing battle there, because now you have a guy that's coming in hot. Jake Kumaro sort of on the hot seat himself now, especially after that big fumble yesterday. But he still offers that special teams value, Mike. So that's really important. And the fact that they extended him, I do think still gives him the upper hand in the situation. But if Isaiah keeps playing like the way he did yesterday, then his job is definitely in trouble, Jake Kumaro's.
Yeah, good to see Big L out there. Good morning, Big L. Yeah, still morning out there.
Yeah.
How many receivers? And that's a great question. How many of the receivers did the Bills keep? I think last year they kept 7. That included Kumaro. So let's go with that. Let's say
I'm going to say 7.
Right?
Yeah, I would say 7 too.
And so we already know Gabe and Stefan are locks. We know that Khalil. We know that maybe Crowder. And we know that Isaiah. So there's 5, right? 5 locks. If they go at 7, you've got, what did I say? Kumaro, Davis, Diggs, Khalil, Crowder, and Isaiah. That's 6 right there, right?
Yep.
And if they do decide to keep 7, I mean, to me, obviously, Hodgins has the lead there. But again, I have to look at the contract that they extended. Do you know what the numbers were on Kumaro?
I don't know exactly what that is. I could look it up quick here.
I can find that out, so don't worry about that. I'll let you keep going on that. So there you go. I Big L, I'm thinking 7, just like last year. 6 would be the least. So what's your thoughts, Jake? 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think 7. I think 7's the lucky number for sure. We just have way too much talent there, and guys that offer different roles on the team, whether it's on special teams, whether it's a return guy. I think there's just way too much value with all of that mixed together. So I think 7 is the right number. And how about Tavon Austin? No snaps at all yesterday. I don't even think he was actually dressed. He was just on the sidelines, just kind of hanging out. So a lot of talk about him coming into minicamp and how well he was doing, but didn't hear a single thing about his play yesterday. And I think that was just because, he wasn't even, I don't even think he was in a uniform yesterday. So that was definitely interesting too.
Yeah. So, I've been saying, Jake, I don't think he makes the team.
Yeah.
And what I saw yesterday, if he's not on the field, either that means he's a lock, which he isn't, or I don't know. I don't see it. And we took a poll in the Nickel City Mafia YouTube channel there, and I don't know if you've seen it. If Austin makes the active squad, and it's close, but currently the no's have it, does not make the active roster. And I know you and I know our good friend Sean think he's going to make the squad, but based on him not playing at all yesterday,
yeah, it doesn't look good.
I don't think so. So going back to Jake Kumaro, just real quick, Jake, we only signed him for a 1 year, $1.1 million. I mean, and it's let's see, what's guaranteed? Only 76,000 guaranteed.
Oh wow, okay.
So if we were to cut him, I mean, the dead cap on that is $76,000, not much. So does it change your mind at all?
It does a little bit, but also if we are going to keep 7, I think Isaiah Hodgins just made a case for himself to be that 7th guy for sure. So maybe we just keep them all. Then Neil Powell, Tanner Gentry, and then Tavon Austin. They would be our 3 cuts.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff there. And Big L saying, yeah, Austin would be gone.
I could definitely see it. I mean, after yesterday, he didn't even play at all. So unless he really shows out these next 2 games here, it's not looking super likely.
I will say, Jake, no matter who we had returning punts, returning kicks, they were so comfortable. There was no bobbled, no bobbled catches, nothing, no muff punts, nothing like that at all. They were all comfortable. And I really liked what I saw there. I don't want to be in a situation where we have to have Micah Hyde back there returning kicks for us, returning punts for us like we did last year.
Right.
So good stuff there. Let's get into the tight ends real quick. I mean, is there anything to really talk about tight ends? They were pretty quiet yesterday. I know we tried to get a few balls to Sweeney, a few balls to Howard, and nothing.
How about OJ Howard coming back in late in the game too? That was pretty interesting to see. It was like the fourth quarter they brought him back into the offense there. I don't know if it was just based on the formations they were running or but I definitely thought that was interesting. Didn't really hear a whole lot about him yesterday. So I think they're still trying to have him sort of prove himself a touch. He could definitely be a big piece of the offense this year, running double tight end set with him and Dawson Knox. So they got to get him into a groove for sure. Tommy Sweeney did have a big drop. It was on third down on that out route. And that was tough because I think it would have put us in the field goal range, I want to say. It was towards the end of the half there, was it maybe? But, otherwise, tight end position was pretty quiet yesterday. Quentin Morris, though, what a great catch by him. That was a great throw by Matt Barkley. That was fantastic. Former receiver Quentin Morris, great job by him yesterday. So that was probably the biggest highlight out of the tight end group yesterday.
Yeah, like I said, very quiet. All right. Let's move on to just some of the negative things. I didn't like the turnovers. We had 3 of them when Keenum, two picks from him, and 1 fumble. Again, I feel like the 1 pick that he threw was really bad. I do feel the Crowder one might have been tipped by a defensive lineman, so I'm not going to put that all on him. But these are just day one, lessons learned, right? You're trying to learn the new system. You're trying to get familiar with Dorsey calling in the plays. You're playing with the backup second stringers on the old line, second stringers on your skill positions, and you're going against a defense that was starting some of their starting players. So, again, not worried about Keenan at all. Let's get into the defensive side of things. Again, let's set the stage here. Again, no starters took the field to open the game, right? No starters whatsoever. Although you could argue that Elam or Benford, and we're going to talk about Benford a little bit, one of those two could be day one starter if Trey White isn't on the field, right? We heard some good news. Can you let the folks know what we heard about Trey White this past week, just recently?
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be coming back sooner than later, which is awesome news. I mean, it seems like things are progressing well. His rehab is going well. He's been out there, doing little things just to sort of kind of get back to full strength. And boy, I mean, that's the best news in the world, Mike, to have an all-pro cornerback sooner than we thought. I think they originally had him pinned at returning maybe October, around there. And now it's looking more and more likely that he's going to play in September, which is great.
You think there's any chance for day one?
It's rushing it a bit, but there's always a chance. I'll never say never.
Yeah, okay. So let's assume that he's not there for day one. So Elam or Benford are probably going to be your day one starters. And they were out there, and I thought both of them shine. But we'll get to them in a little bit. Let's start with the D-line. Talk to me about your standouts on D-line yesterday.
Standouts on D-line. Boogie Basham, I thought, played a fantastic game. He was excellent. Great to see him out there. Also wearing 55, Jerry Hughes.
That kept throwing me off. I'm like, right? Is that Hughes? Is that Hughes? Wait, who's that?
It was weird. It was weird to see another guy in that jersey.
Yeah.
But he repped it well yesterday. He did a really nice job. I thought Mike Love played a fantastic game yesterday. He was really good late in the game. I think he had 1.5 sacks maybe total, or 2 sacks around there. He was definitely a standout guy. I like what Brandon Bryant did. I thought he played very well. Let's see. Those are my big 3.
Yeah, I'm looking for Mike Love here. Actually, I'm looking at ESPN. They don't have him credited.
They didn't credit him
with a sack.
Really?
No.
Maybe it was a tackle TFL then. Could have been.
Yes, tackle for loss. Yep. And he was getting pressure. He was really impressive.
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there.
I like that pick as well. For me, it was Boogie, for sure. Last year we just kept questioning why he was being inactive all the time, and you're going to see a lot more of Boogie this year. And I'm so excited with what this kid's going to bring to our team. And he gets that big sack, which gets scooped up by who for the touchdown?
Terrell Bernard, baby.
Terrell
Took it all the way to the
Bernard.
house. That was awesome to see, wasn't it? Man.
That was exciting. Pretty cool stuff there. So other than that, other than the few that you mentioned there, Jake, I don't have too many others to talk about on the defensive line. Are you good with moving into the linebackers?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, let's get into the linebackers, and I'll throw it your side because I know you're excited about one guy in particular. So go ahead.
Just another moment for me to tip my cap. A late round pick, 7th rounder, Balin Spector. What a freaking day for that young man. I always knew he had big things coming his way, but yesterday he really showed that he could play in the league and be a potential starter, Mike. That's how good he played. He's an old school thumper. He runs to the ball. He's a surefire tackler. He runs downhill. Boy, I love what I saw from him yesterday. He really played a great game, and he was in for a while, and they really tested him quite a bit. I mean, even in coverage a little bit. And I just, there were so many positive things that he did, and I just really do feel that he's going to be a contributor at some point this season, not only just on special teams, but I do think he has a place on this defense. That's how good I think he is. So just really another moment for me. I hate to brag, hate to talk myself up too much, but I love that guy. And I was so happy when we got him in the 7th round. I thought he was an absolute steal there. So it was just a really satisfying moment for me to watch him go off yesterday like he did.
Yeah, I bet. What about, for me, let me rattle through mine, and then you can either comment on them or bring up others. So of course, Terrell Bernard with the big scoop for the fumble return for a touchdown. However, I saw Terrell Bernard a little on coverage a couple times.
Yeah, he struggled a bit.
He struggled a bit, right? And so I worry about, he's a smaller guy. I worry about speed a little bit, but something was off on the coverage. Giles Harris had a very nice game, right? With 6 tackles, tackle for loss, pass deflection, and a quarterback hit.
The only thing he had, the only negative I could say that he had, and it was a pretty impactful play, it was that low block when we got that sack in the backfield it was like a 15-yard loss, but ended up being an automatic first down for them because he had a receiver coming across the middle, and he kind of like dropped his body to stop him from, running that route and running open. And they called it a low block. I think that was the only negative I could really take from his play yesterday.
Yeah, he had a big pass deflection late in that game to stop it. I think it was the 3rd down play. I think he was covering the tight end and just made a nice play on the ball. Andre Smith. Now, Andre Smith, we know, is going to be suspended for the first 6 games of the year. And even last year in preseason, I've always been impressed with Andre Smith. He didn't get on the field a lot last year. What's sad is the only thing I can really remember is Isaiah McKenzie kickoff return for a touchdown being called back because of a holding play from Smith. But he looked good again yesterday. And my only take on that is why? Why is he out there? Talk to me, Jake. I need to know, why are we wasting? Again, it looks like the Bills are going to keep him. They're going to put him on 6-game suspension, and they're not cutting him. He does seem to play well when he's in there in preseason. Haven't seen much. He hasn't had much opportunity during the regular season. But your thoughts on playing a guy that's going to be suspended the first 6 games of the year?
Well, six weeks is a long time off, Mike, and that's a long time to go without really strapping them up and hitting and doing your thing, especially in a game time situation. So you may as well get him some time in the preseason here, and I think that was the whole reasoning behind why he started the game, why he was in for so long. I know you're kind of taking away reps from other guys that are going to be potentially available throughout the entire season, but they plan on keeping him. And I do think that the value that he offers as a special teamer and a guy that can kind of rotate in if he needs to is high enough where you should have a guy like him in during the preseason at least, because he's not going to play for 6 games during the regular season. Okay,
that's fair. Anybody else on the linebacker side that I didn't talk about or that you haven't already talked about?
No, I think you covered it. Just the big winner of the day, Mike, Balin Spector. How about it? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Wow, what a steal!
I think his stock went up absolutely 100%.
No doubt
after that game. All right, let's get into the corners, because this is where I was focused. When that game started, I was all eyes on the cornerback situation. And we had Elam and Benford out there starting. And so let's, for me, Elam, Benford, and Cam Lewis all played very solid. But I'll throw it over to you. Talk to me about those three and anyone else that you were really surprised about. And then I have a stock down on one of the guys.
Sure. Awesome job. I mean, you had two starting receivers and Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. and Christian Benford and Kyer Elam won that matchup handily. I mean, and especially against Michael Pittman Jr., who is a 1,000-yard receiver, a bigger guy, a guy that can take you over the top, get the easy win on jump balls and you name it. I mean, he is one of the better receivers in the league, and we did a fantastic job against him. Both corners, I thought, played exceptional. Kyer had that one kind of welcome to the NFL moment where he got that crack block. It was, one of those moments where you have to keep your head on a swivel. He didn't. And there was also some confusion on that play. I think that was Nick McLeod's back. It was the running back when he scored the touchdown on the wheel route there, just wide open. I mean, there was no one even around him, and I think that was Nick McLeod on the very end who was supposed to take him. But also Kyer Elam, that was his one moment where it was like, all right, well, just make sure you keep your head on the swivel. It's a welcome to the NFL moment for him. But otherwise, played a really, really good game of football yesterday. And Christian Benford was really the guy that I thought, 6th-round pick out of Villanova, Mike, and he's going out here facing up against a number one receiver in the league and just shutting him down. I mean, he had a pass deflection yesterday. He was very poised and fine-tuned, and he didn't get beat or anything like that. No big plays happened on his side. I really was extremely impressed with what he's done. And Leslie Frazier was talking him up quite a bit, saying that his versatility that he offers and the maturity that he's shown already is just tremendous. So just very impressed altogether with both of those guys. So I am very happy with both of those picks. Another guy that I thought was intriguing to me was Cam Lewis. Yeah. I thought he had a couple good plays as well. And we had talked about him a little bit in the comments section on I think it was our last video or the video before, just saying how he could maybe even step up a little bit and fill in. I thought overall corner play was pretty good. I do want to hear who you think whose stock went down a bit. Okay,
so first of all, let me just reiterate a little bit. Elam, I do think, if I'm wrong, correct me, I do think he was called for a holding. Pass interference.
Pass interference, yeah.
Okay. And but otherwise, I felt it was so awesome. That first play where he was press coverage against Alec Pierce, who we talked about maybe drafting, right? Before the draft. And he played press coverage, did a fantastic job, was right on him, knocked the ball down. And I felt that was just such a boost for his confidence. And that was the first, his first game action defending somebody, and man, that was just such a great start. I felt he did very well on his other as later in the game as well on coverage. And then Benford, my gosh, he's been getting a lot of talk. Listen to a lot of these shows who actually have access to the training camps. He's been getting a lot of talk, and I listened to a show, and I don't know if you heard this, Jake, and I'm hearing this third hand. I don't know, but this is true. The Bills have so much depth that other teams are starting to look at this Bills squad and saying, who potentially may not make the squad that we can snag? And there was a side reporter, I don't know if she said it on the during the game, or it was halftime or whatever. But one of the shows that I watched last night said that she got calls from other teams, other executives from other teams asking about Benford in particular. Do you think Benford makes the squad? And she said, yes, I do think he will. But it just goes to show you that other teams are kind of like, hey, why not? If you're going to, if the Bills are favored to win a Super Bowl and they're a very, very good team with a lot of depth, why wouldn't you look at this team? Who's not going to make that roster that I can snag on the waiver wire after after folks get released? And I do think Benford is I'm worried now. I was thinking that he, does he get on the practice squad? I don't know now. I don't know if he would clear waivers, right? So
we got to keep that man. He's going to be a contributor this year. I can't see him not being on this roster and not even getting some reps and some time. That's how good he is. Yeah.
So, and then Cam Lewis played absolutely great as well. So those three guys to me, shine. They really did. The stock down is my guy, Elijah Griffin. He's out there on the field. My son and I were keeping a close eye on him, and he had that one big holding play, and it was just so bad. It was like, oh my gosh, Elijah, if you're going to make this squad, you can't be doing things like that. And so that's my stock down guy is Elijah. I've talked about him. Some people on the show may not even know of Elijah Griffin. Elijah Griffin was undrafted free agent out of USC last year by the Bills, played on the practice squad all year. We met him, and that's why we have some personal connection with him. We met him at one of my son's flag football games. Super nice kid. Took some pictures with us. And, of course, his dad is the famous rapper Warren G. And so anyhow, cool story there, but I really thought there was some stock down there. Now, I do believe if he doesn't make the team, I do think he could clear waivers and definitely be on the practice squad again. Because the Bills, they're showing, man, this coaching staff, they can take these corners that are drafted in the late rounds and just bring them up, right?
It's amazing.
And, they've just shown it time and time again. And here we are again. Now we got Benford. We had Levi Wallace who left us to Pittsburgh. That guy was he late round or undrafted? I can't remember.
He was undrafted. Yeah, undrafted. Yep.
So the Bills have shown that they find these guys. I don't know how they find them, but hats off to them because
it's unbelievable.
Those scouts are getting their money's worth. They really are. We're getting the money's worth from those scouts because to find a guy like Benford so late, and the Bills, I heard more conversations like they were very surprised that other teams didn't take a shot with him on Benford, that is. So anyhow, stock down for Griffin, stock up on all those other guys. And I don't know, what does Dane Jackson not being on the field say to you that he's a lock? He's a lock at a starter?
I don't know if he's a lock as a starter. I think he's a lock to be on the team, of course. But as a starter, I would say no. I don't think he's a lock as a starter at all. I mean, Christian Benford made a case for himself yesterday. So, I would say not at all. Not in the least bit does he make, does this solidify anything,
Yeah, that makes sense because, these are young guys. You do want to see them out there. And but I think they both made a case, both Elam and Benford, and some degree Cam Lewis made a case like, hey, I can be out there day one, don't forget about me. So all good there. All good on the cornerback situation from my standpoint yesterday. Safeties, I mean, talk to me. Damar Hamlin was out there. Jaquan Johnson had a nice pick. So talk to me about on the safeties what you saw there.
I love both of those guys. I think they are awesome depth guys. And another, couple of guys that are just really athletic and can play special teams. So it's just the name of the game, Mike, is versatility and being able to be a football player and not just your specific position. So just two great guys that are under the McBean watch. And, again, I love that we have both of them. I hope that they don't have to necessarily play a ton because if they do, that means one of our guys are injured, being Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer. But I do feel comfortable with them at a point. I do think that they have a little bit of experience and can bring something to the table. And nice interception by Jaquan Johnson. So those are guys that they talk pretty highly about. Damar Hamlin, he's been talked up quite a bit. Another late round pick, guy out of Pitt, and definitely a guy that can make an impact if given the opportunity.
Yeah, totally agree there. So, and then that was it kind of from my standpoint on the safeties, but let's get into maybe what you're going to say is we save the best for last.
I'm so happy.
And let's talk about special teams. You had a concern on our last show. You're like, oh my goodness, is the punt god not going to make the team here? Let me throw it to you. Talk about your thoughts now.
I cannot wait to receive that jersey in the mail that I have ordered of Matt Araiza because he is going to be our starting punter this year. Unfortunately, Matt Hawk, he did start the game yesterday, which made me a little nervous just seeing him out there. But they gave the seniority nod to him, and he had a 39-yard punt that was within the 20. So kudos to him. Good. But otherwise, no one is going to punt the ball 82 yards, and flip the field from your own 20 to the opposing team's 20. Like, that's just insane to me. Anyone complaining that it was a touchback and that it didn't get pinned down, you try chasing after an 82-yard punt. Even Steve Tasker said himself on the broadcast that he has never, ever in his lifetime had a chase after an 82-yard punt. So it just doesn't happen. And the net average on that was like 62 yards.
62 yards, yep.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's something you will not get from anyone else in the league. So it's just amazing. That guy, I mean, you want to talk about stock rising. I mean, his stock went through the roof. And I hope we don't have to punt a lot this year, but if we are ever backed up in our own territory like that, I mean, that's just an awesome thing to have a guy that can just boot it 80 yards like that. It was like 70 yards in the air too, Mike. I mean, it didn't roll that much, it's just insane. You don't see stuff like that.
Give him, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this has got to be nerve wracking for the kid, right? Here's his first punt, all the talk about him. And a lot of times guys would just crumble in that situation, right? I was like, oh my God, don't let him shank this one kick. And he just booms it. Now it was a small sampling. It was one kick and it goes for 82, but my gosh, what a way to start things off. But the bigger news, I thought, was what everyone's been talking about, this concern of him holding. Jake, can we put that to rest? I
think we can officially put that to rest. Every single hold yesterday was perfect. Laces were out. He looked natural at it. Held for the game-winning field goal, and that looked great. And the only guy holding yesterday, Mike, if you didn't notice,
I noticed. I was keeping a close eye on that.
Yeah.
I will say this. Look, in Buffalo, when it's cold, in the weather, holding's a little different situation. But we don't have that to, we can't judge him on that because we haven't seen him in those conditions. But everything we're seeing, no problems whatsoever. And, I heard another show saying that they feel that Ariza probably just won, he's the punter. They should let Matt Hawk go, and so that he can, do the veteran a favor so that he can maybe be picked up with another team out there. Don't waste his time any longer.
I would agree with that sentiment.
Right. Maybe keep him. If you're going to keep him, it's just to kind of, work with Ariza.
Mentor
a little bit, but don't do that to the guy. He's a vet. He'll get picked up. There's always somebody. He's a great holder. He absolutely is. Matt Hawk's always been known for being a really, really good holder. And he's, he had a couple bad punts for us last year, but overall he's a fairly decent punter.
Yeah, he's not that bad. I mean, he had tough couple of bad breaks last year, but I think he does have a spot on a team, definitely not named the Buffalo Bills, but he can definitely still be a punter in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, certainly Matt Ariza's job, in my opinion, but time will tell.
So, Jake, I feel like you should be expecting a check from the Bills office. I mean, first of all, you called Matt Ariza months before the draft. You were talking this guy up. We got to get him, Mike. We got to get him. Like, not many teams draft punters these days, but
yeah, I know.
We did. You called it. Now you're talking about Blackshear, who could be the black sheep, and all of a sudden, I mean, not the black sheep, but just the surprise that we've been talking about. Who's going to surprise in that running back room? And here's Blackshear popping up. You called that one. Balin Spector, you were talking about before as well. I mean, you can expect a check. I think you might be an honorary scout for the Bills, and maybe
I would love that.
Maybe you're not telling me something. So just kind of let it out for the group here. Are you a scout for the Bills?
I am not. But if they want to offer me a job, I'd be more than happy to do so. I'm a great television scout. I could tell you that, Mike. I just kind of go off of what I see. This year, I'm definitely going to do a lot more film breakdown. I think yesterday I got into a little bit. So I'm watching the game upstairs in my living room, and my wife is actually in the room with me. And I was watching previously downstairs in the man cave, but I'm like, all right, after halftime, we're going to go get something to eat upstairs. So went to the kitchen, fed the baby, went into the living room, had the game on. And my wife's in there with me, and she's watching, and she's listening to me just talk to myself because that's what I do. Didn't have anyone else over for the game yesterday, Mike. It's preseason still, so we're going to work our way into it. Figure I'd give her a break too. And she's like, what are you doing? And rewinding the game, going back, rewinding it. And it was actually after you asked me about the that touchdown pass to the running back for the Colts there. That was it was definitely going to be Nick McLeod's guy. So I went back and looked at it, and I kept rewinding it. And I'll tell you what, it really brought me back. I enjoy the hell out of doing some film study. So this year, I'm going to be pretty heavy on that, Mike. So I will come prepared a little bit more to these shows, just being able to dissect plays and, whatever it may be. But I really enjoy the hell out of doing that. So maybe in the future, I don't know. Always thought about it, but as of right now, no, I'm not on their payroll. But if they want to send me a check, that would be great.
Yeah, I see one coming.
Awesome.
Also, too, go back and look at that and tell me if you agree or disagree that defensive lineman got his fingers on the first Keenum interception.
Okay, I haven't looked at that again, so I definitely will.
Take a look. Anyhow, that kind of does it for us. Great. I mean, it was exciting. It was an exciting game. I mean, for me, I don't really look at whether we win or lose that game. I could care less about the win or the loss. I was looking at specific folks, and they performed, and I was happy. We were down by 14 points at one time. I know we had an 8-game winning streak, but who cares? But it got excited. And in that fourth quarter, and there were a lot of preseason games I felt that were pretty exciting yesterday. You had the Rams and the Chargers. I mean, that went down to the end. And of course, you got the teams that play at the same stadium going against one another. You had Pittsburgh and who was it they were playing? Was it Seattle?
Pittsburgh and Seattle. Yeah, that was a great game. Right down to the last second. I mean,
there was a lot of exciting football from a score perspective. And I just felt like, again, I wasn't too wrapped up in that, but I got super excited when the Bills started making a run and Barkley did his thing in the fourth. But again, it was more for me just making sure that these guys that we've been talking about, these young players that we feel are going to play a big role, and they all shined. I don't think there was one person that we expected to do well that didn't do well, right? I don't know if there was one for you, but all these young folks that we brought on this team, everybody shined. So super excited about that. Yes, it's great to get the win, of course. But closing thoughts for you, Jake.
Well, I actually want to talk about this comment here, Mike. It's very interesting. And it's from Rock. Shout out to Rock. He's asking if AJ Epinesa is on the bubble. And I think out of, talking about guys that we sort of expected to shine and get some time yesterday, just a guy that we're not hearing a whole lot about. And instead, we have Boogie Basham, another, second round pick that goes out and shines and does his thing. And boy, I mean, it seems like, with the play of Mike Love, the play of Boogie Basham and some of our other guys, maybe he is on the bubble. So I can definitely see that being the case. And I had pitched even maybe trading him for like a late round pick early on in the offseason, and we haven't done that yet. So there's still obviously a little bit of faith left in him. I do think he has an incredible get off. He's fast. He just has to finish. And that's been the biggest thing with him. I just don't think he's been able to finish outside of that Dolphins game last season. So I definitely do think he's on the bubble. I think that's a very valid statement right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. He did start with Boogie.
Yeah.
So, and you really didn't,
Very quiet. Very quiet.
Very quiet. And Rock, this is for you. If you smell what the Rock is cooking. Nice to see you out there in the channel.
I love that. Mike, that was amazing. I mean, you sounded just like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself.
Oh man, I do that impression all the time. I actually do it a little better, but I
love that.
Going all out on that one. But
that was impromptu.
Anyhow, good stuff there. And let me see. Let me take that off the screen there. But again,
yes, closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Sorry, I was going to get into that too.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts are just, wow, what a rookie class so far, Mike. I am so happy with how they turned out and showed up yesterday. Just a lot of great things to build off of. We have so much depth. Obviously, you see these other GMs sort of looking to the Bills, seeing who we're going to cut, who they're going to potentially make a move on, pick up during waivers or whatever it may be. It's an exciting time to be a Bills fan. We never had so much depth in our lives, and let me tell you, it's only going to get better from here. So just an all-around great effort yesterday. What a great game of football. Football is so back. I am so back. We are all so back. The Bills are back, baby. It's just a great time to be alive.
Yeah, we're less than 30 days now from opening day against the Rams, which will be there. By the way, Jake, I'm not going to talk about it much because we've already exceeded an hour. But my son and I did go undercover at the Rams training camp this past Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
My wife had tickets. We went there, and it was a good experience. I learned some things. If I ever go to a training camp again, I'll know what to do and what not to do. But it was interesting and it was funny. I'll just say this. We had to pretend to be Rams fans. We were trying to blend in. We sat down we got some lunch. And my son, we were able to find him a T-shirt so he can kind of blend in and look the part. I just had a blue and yellow hat that was a Torrey Pines hat, so it had the
Rams nice.
colors.
There you go. Yeah.
That's all I had. But I
thought you were going to say Torrey Holt for a second. I'm like, okay,
no.
Now we're talking.
No. We sit down.
Should be
lunch.
In the Hall of Fame, by the way.
The tables had to be shared because there was just a lot of people there. So we sit down with this Rams family, and they start talking to us. And I'm like going. They had little kids there. I'm like, hey, who's your favorite player? Blah blah blah. And then a dad asked Jonah, who's your favorite Rams player? Now, Jonah knows the players, so he went right along with it. And he looks at me like, Dad, is it okay to say something? And I was like, tell him who your favorite Rams player is. And he said, Matt Stafford. He threw out Stafford. I was surprised he didn't throw out Cooper Kupp or Aaron Donald. But it was interesting to see. I got to say, I had never been to a training camp. Being there on the field level, these guys are massive. I saw some of the old linemen.
Huge.
I saw some of the receivers, even the receivers. I'm like, my goodness, these guys are big. So it was a cool experience. We went undercover. We sent some film over to the Bills coaching staff. Hopefully they can use it. And let's get this one.
Now we're talking.
But it was funny. I'm taking video as we're walking to the stadium. So you walk in. They have a little party. They have a little DJ going on. They had some, by the way, I told you Greg Bell and Rosie Greer were supposed to be there, the legends.
That's cool.
They bailed out, unfortunately. So they had a couple Rams legends go there. But anyhow, we kind of bypassed that a little bit because it was really crowded when we first walked in. We start going to the field, and they have the Super Bowl trophy that you can take a picture. You have to wait in line. And I'm filming, and I'm like, there's no way I'm taking a picture with the Super Bowl trophy. I'm waiting for my team to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
And then I'll take the picture.
That's right. Yep. So anyway, I respect that.
It was a cool experience. And again, I learned some things, and I'll know better next time. I think I can do a better job going undercover. But the fact that we had to pretend to be Rams fans for a day, and it was interesting. It was really interesting.
I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Anyhow, I think that I just want to remind everyone, please like, comment, drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget about the giveaway for today. I think we just said any comment's good. Just put any comment, not in the live chat. The live chat is separate. After the show or even during the show, go put a comment in if you want to get entered into the giveaway. Also, the giveaway, the full details are below in the description. Click on that, and it'll give you all the information that you need to know. And also, you want to put comments on that as well, because you can get multiple entries in that. I do want to talk about, we also have a Discord channel. Join our Discord channel.
Yes.
That link is also in the description. Pretty cool. We do a couple shows, right? We have fantasy football. If you're into fantasy football, my goodness, you're going to want to join the Discord to get information from Chris and Rick. They will answer you on Discord. You have any questions whatsoever, draft, pre-draft, during the season. And then we have the golf show, and the golf show has been doing very well. They'll answer questions. I love seeing those guys get out there in the channel, and they sweat the cut on Friday, and they're all out there saying, "Oh my God, I need this guy to do this." So good stuff. And then we have our Bills channel as well. Get out there. We're talking about the Bills. We're talking about all kinds of good stuff. So the Discord channel is growing. We just kicked it off a couple of weeks ago. It's a lot of fun, actually. And that link is in the description below. That's it. I'm sorry I've taken a lot of your time today. We're a little bit over an hour. Jake, it's good to see you as always. Let's see here. Did we get a last comment pop in there?
We did. George Karlaftis again. Everyone big on George Karlaftis. I agree, but
I don't want to leave until we've answered these folks. So just hate the fact that my team didn't draft George. I don't care. That dude looked amazing yesterday. This is the second person saying this, Jake.
Yeah, he did. There's no doubt about it. He is just an absolute motor. That guy is unbelievable, and he's going to be something special in this league. There was definitely a reason why he is a first round pick, and he showed that yesterday. And Boy, what a freak of nature, man. He's gonna be special. It would have been nice if the Bills could have taken him, but I'm happy we got Kyer Elam.
Yeah, I have so much, as he says that, I have so much more I could say. Like it was curious that Mahomes actually started and none of our guys started. So that was interesting. There were teams out there that were putting star players out there in the preseason game where we took the stance that we're not going to put anyone out there that's a starter. So that was interesting. But yeah, good stuff. Second person to talk about, George. But it was a fantastic day yesterday. Great start to our season. Let's go. We came out healthy. By the way, that's super important. We forgot to mention that. Yeah, a couple guys. I think Elam got dinged up, but he looked fine.
He was good. They cleared him.
They said he can go back in if he wanted to. And then Blackshear. I love Blackshear's toughness. Got dinged up. That dude did not want to leave the field. He was walking off the field, and it looked like his leg gave out. I'm like, oh, my God, this is bad.
Yeah, I was worried.
Next thing I know, he's back in the game. Toughness. Love it. Young kid wanting to get out there and show everything. And we got Eric out there joining the show.
Hey, Eric.
Eric, good to see you. We're wrapping things up, so hopefully you go back and watch the show. But good to see everyone out there in the channel. So we can keep talking forever. We can go 2 hours if people want to go.
Let her rip, Mike. Let's do it.
Anyhow, again, join us in the Discord. A lot of fun. We talk there, and you get answers to your questions pretty much immediately. The guys are monitoring the Discord channel. Jake and I are taking care of the Buffalo side of things, and like I said, fantasy football and golf out there as well. So let's go. Can't wait to talk next week. Who do we got next week, Jake? I forget. I haven't. Who's on it?
It's August 20th. I know that, and I think it's another home game. I want to say, and let me confirm again because I think I always get them mixed up. It is the Broncos. Yeah, so we're playing the Broncos and then it's the Panthers after that. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. And until then, go Bills.
Go Bills,
Thank you, everyone.